part of my issue is that police officers and former police officers are not speaking out. I can't make them speak out. I would love for them to. I've advocated for good police officers. I work with some great police officers. I work with some retired police officers who are some of the best people in the world, some of the most knowledgeable, some of the most amazingly caring, kind, empathetic, sympathetic people that would give you the shirt off their back, do anything for you, put their life on the line for me. But I can't get people to speak out about these things. You know, I listen to officers talk about situations. I'm always wanting to hear what their thought process is. What's their viewpoint on things? And a lot of officers, in terms of this San Diego backseat cop thing, they're kind of joking about it and laughing it off. And I don't really see where it's funny. For those of you who are unaware, there was a cop that made a warrant stop on a female. He puts her in the car. He's driving her to the detention center. She basically comes right out, says, "Hey, look, I'm willing to make a deal. I'm down. I'm DTF. I'm down to fuck right now." She literally says that. He turns his camera off, pulls off into a neighborhood, and then I think spends the next hour locked in the back seat of his car. Now, we can, first off, I would not joke about it, but certain people have kind of joked it off, like, "Oh my God, you got to be so stupid to do that." Like, there's memes, there's all kind of videos about it. But the police officers who are responding about it, they're talking about everything from, the fact that this is not something that hasn't happened before. I've seen some officers talk about, whether or not the investigation was prudent or right, or how it was done. And then one officer in particular, I thought, gave a very weird response to this. And I think it says a lot about this person. Now, I have no respect for this person as it is. There's no love loss between me and this individual in terms of how I feel about him. I think he's a horrible person. He has smoke for everybody that looks like himself and me. And I always want to see what he says about his fellow law enforcement brethren. And he always takes a stance that is more complimentary, regardless of the situation. Okay. And we are, of course, talking about Officer Brandon Tatum. We're going to be looking at his response to this situation and its implications of law enforcement in general, because I think that he has a bit of implicit bias as well. And his implicit bias is to protect those that work with him in the law enforcement community. Now, I'm not going to play the entire video. I'm going to play the part where he starts to rationalize and sympathize with what this police officer went through. And I want you to hear what he says, because this is really strange how he says this. Probably better just to play it. So fair use. The link to his video in full is in the description. So here we go.
He doing something he ain't supposed to be doing. But anyway, this particular Officer Hare, got fired. Thank God that he lost his job, and he should have. Officers out there that are listening, don't be an Officer Hare. Don't be a fool. If you wanna talk to the chick, and I would argue that you should never do this, but just don't do it on duty in your uniform. And I would argue that she must have moved.
Hang on a second, sorry.
Person behind you, God that he lost his job, uniform. She know how to look up Officer Harrod when she get out of jail.
The fuck? This is a person with a warrant. This is a criminal. To my knowledge, you're not supposed to have any contact with the criminal, right? So just so we're clear, like, what I'm hearing is him saying that you shouldn't do this, but if you're going to do this, find a way to do it off work. I want you guys to hear what he's saying. I'm going to back this up. Hang on.
Be an Officer Hare. Don't be a fool. If you want to talk to the chick, and I would argue that you should never do this.
I'm giving him credit. He says that I'm going to argue that you should never do this, ... but
just don't do it on duty in your uniform. She know how to look up Officer Harrod when she get out of jail. and she hits you up on Facebook or something, maybe that's what you like to do. That's what you want to do. I don't recommend it. But God, dog, in uniform, on duty, in the patrol car, on shift, body worn camera, GPS tracking. Y'all out here giving up the ghost. But let me just end it with this. In all seriousness, do not participate in behavior like this. Because even if she found you somewhere on social media after, all it takes is for you to sleep with this woman, and now her cases, she finna be free. Because all she's gonna do is say, he coerced me, he did this, we had relationship outside of his professionalism. And I know it's hard as a cop because I've been there. I've seen some pretty good looking women. Dude, all it takes is for you to sleep with this woman, and now her cases, she finna be free. Because all she's gonna do is say, he coerced me, he did this, we had relationship outside of his professionalism. And I know it's hard as a cop because I've been there. I've seen some pretty good looking women. Look, I'm a cop. I didn't see you. I'm in another world right now. I don't even know who you are. Don't want nothing to do with you. I'm doing a job. When I get off, if somehow you run into me somewhere organically, maybe I'll.
Am I the only person that finds this like a little bit explanatory of this being okay? In the comments, like, am I hearing the wrong thing here?
I've been there. I've seen some pretty good looking women. Look, I'm a cop. I didn't see you. I'm in another world right now. I don't even know who you are. Don't want nothing to do with you. I'm doing a job. When I get off, if somehow you run into me somewhere organically, maybe I'll say hi to you. If I arrested you, I can't talk to you. If I just gave you a little warning or something, or I seen you somewhere, maybe. If you that good looking, maybe. But I'm in another world right now. I don't even know who you are. Don't want nothing to do with you. I'm doing a job. When I get off, if somehow you run into me somewhere organically, maybe I'll say hi to you. If I arrested you, I can't talk to you. If I just gave you a little warning or something, or I seen you somewhere, maybe. If you that good looking, maybe. But I would tell officers, stay away from that stuff before you get yourself in trouble. Do your doggone job.
Ward said, self-snitched, right? I'm sorry, what? Why is it so hard? Police officers who are watching this, if you ever watch this, if you care to respond, I would, if you're a former cop, if you're a current cop, I have a question for you. And this is not a trick question, okay? Why is it so hard to say that something is wrong? Wow, there's a video of a San Diego officer in the back of the patrol car with his camera off in a residential neighborhood. That's horrible. In fact, given the power dynamic, I would say that's criminal. He makes us all look bad. He should be fired and potentially prosecuted. What was that, like 20 words? Why is that so difficult? I come on here all the time. Hey, look, there's a security guard performing a tombstone power driver on a 45-pound person. That's not okay. He should be terminated. Other security guards don't do that, right? See how easy that is? Hey, black men, don't join gangs, don't carry extendos, don't get into shootouts and kill people and end up in prison. Very easy for me to say, right? Why is it so hard for law enforcement officers to go, that is not okay? From the dog shooting to the airman shooting to getting caught with your pants down in the back of a patrol car, why is that so hard? This plays into the exact narrative of tonight's live stream. Implicit bias. You see, it's almost impossible for law enforcement officers to point out these issues, because their implicit bias, it's not just the people that they're dealing with on the street. It's the people that they're dealing with in their profession. There's an implicit bias that they have to take the side of their brothers, that they have to protect the shield, that they have to hold the line. And I know that I am not a cop. I get told that all the time. I know that I have not been a police officer. I get told that all the time. I don't understand the job. I get told that all the time. Guys, I get it. Anything that you want to say about me, anything you want to say about my background, my past, my abilities, my potential, whatever it is. Okay. Granted, I'm a piece of shit. I'll take that. But what I am very, very good at is critical thinking and being able to see something and look at it in a 360-degree view and call a turtle a turtle. Because it's not that difficult. It should not take somebody stuttering and stammering around in this situation to say that is not okay and that is more than likely criminal based on the circumstances that we have. And I'm a former cop, and that makes us all look bad. There is no situation where a male cop should ever turn off his body camera, park the car, and be alone with a female suspect. That is absolutely unacceptable. That should not be a bridge too far for current or former law enforcement officers to say. I'm going to go so far as to say that with everything in terms of like, I'll say RAE prevention and equality throughout the force, that is a conversation that's been had many times. I'm sure there's training. I'm sure there's documentation on all of that. So to say that you're not selling out your brothers, you're not selling out the industry of law enforcement, you should feel comfortable speaking up and saying that isn't okay. But if you're the kind of person that says, hey, if you're good looking and maybe I saw you in this situation and you want to talk to me after work, off work, if you're that kind of person, then I see where you're coming from. And you're right. He self-snitched. Brandon Tatum is showing his true colors. Now, when it comes to, young black kids getting shot or slammed with a car or put in any sort of circumstance or anything, he's got all the smoke. He doesn't mix words. He doesn't mince words when he's talking about the black community. When he's talking about kids whose brains are not fully developed yet, kids who have been raised in a horrible situation, kids who, should know right from wrong, but clearly don't. He has all the smoke. Lock them up. Throw away the key. Throw the book at them. They should be shot. Fuck around and found out. But in this situation, it's a bunch of tap dancing going on. Interesting.
Make it to your retirement. Officer Hare, I'll see you on the next one. I'm out.
Thanks for nothing, B. Tatum. Good Lord.